my beautiful book besties, welcome back to my channel. My name is Liv if you're new here, and today we are going to be chatting about all the books I'm hoping to read in the month of July. Once again, I had to do a little switcheroo in this room because it was extremely dark filming the other way and I wasn't really liking it. So we switched things up again. Hopefully it's not too distracting, but the lighting is just so much better this way. So we honestly might film this way in the future because it's just so much easier on the editing part. I also have another fun, exciting, quick announcement to share with you that's unrelated to my TBR. Well, I guess one of these books is on my July TBR, which is perfect. But I wanted to let you guys know I have officially made the switch from Book of the Month to Aardvark. I have been loving their picks lately. Not only that, but they so graciously made me an affiliate with them, and I could not be more excited because I have a code now to give you guys. For your first book, you can get it for $4 with free shipping using my code LivesLibrary. Like I said, this is not sponsored at all whatsoever, but I'm just excited to try something new because I've been with Book of the Month since 2019, I believe, and I just needed something new and something different. And I'm not gonna lie, going back and looking at what Aardvark has had this year versus what Book of the Month has, Aardvark has had a lot of my most anticipated releases, and I can get them cheaper through Aardvark rather than going to Barnes & Noble. So I'm really excited to share with you really quick what they had for the month of June, just in case you guys are interested. They did have some amazing picks for June. They had Evocation or Evocation by S.T. Gibson, which I know a lot of people loved A Dowry of Blood, so I was super surprised that they had this as a pick. And I love how they include their little insignia or their logo within the design, which I feel like is just way more subtle. And I will also say their books are so buttery soft. They're not cloth bound like Book of the Month, which is honestly what I like because you get this amazing spine like the original hardcover, and I feel like it's just so worth the money. So they sent me this one, but then I also have Dreadful, which is one of my most anticipated like spooky cozy fantasy books of the year, and I cannot wait to dive into this one. And I know a lot of us have been super excited for The Last Murder at the End of the World, which is again going on my July TBR. So right here, just with these two, made me instantly want to make the switch to Aardvark. So again, this is not sponsored whatsoever. I'm just so over the moon excited that I'm an affiliate with them, and I just wanted to share with you guys some of the picks that they've had recently because I was super stoked about these. I will always include my code in the description below if you guys want to check it out. So I just wanted to put that quick little announcement at the beginning of this video just in case you guys were interested. One more thing before we dive into my actual TBR is I don't really have anything crazy I'm doing in July. I'm kind of conserving my energy for fall because fall starts mid-August for me. So you guys can expect to start seeing fall content very early this year. It is my favorite time of year to create content. So for Patreon in July, I don't have a lot going on. We are gonna do like a Mamma Mia movie night, which is gonna be super fun. And I'm also gonna be doing a live hangout like chat game session with some of my patrons, which is my favorite part about Patreon, I'm not gonna lie. So just a little plug for the Patreon in case you're interested. I do have my bi-monthly readathon that I host that I have already started creating graphics for August. So we've got a lot coming up, especially in August, where that will be the perfect month for you to check it out if you've never checked it out before. But let's just go ahead and talk about Summerween. I feel like a lot of us participate in the Summerween readathon, and this year I am going to be vlogging again. I'm so excited. I do have a potential TBR that I'm going to share with you, but I do have to be a little bit realistic with myself because I do have family visiting. I'm not exactly going to be following the prompts. I kind of just want to read some thrillers and some spookier kind of fun books. I don't really read horror, so it's kind of hard for me to narrow down what I want to read. The first prompt is just to read a book that is a thriller or a horror book, and for this one I really want to read Kill for Me, Kill for You. Right away, the red and the black just kind of gives off like Halloween vibes for me, but I have been eyeing this book for a while now. Everybody keeps rating it so highly, and I feel like it could end up being a favorite thriller like of all time. I could be speaking too soon, but this one is about two women who agree to kill each other's husbands. So I don't know if it's gonna go more like the domestic route or what kind of twist we're gonna encounter with this, but I'm extremely intrigued because I've never heard a premise like this before. So I knew right away when Summerween was coming around the corner that this would be like the #1 book I wanted to read. The next prompt was kind of hard to choose because you have to pick a book with 5 words in the title, and I kept finding books with 4 or 3 words or even 6, and it was really hard to narrow this down. But I did end up getting a finished copy from a publisher just yesterday, and I feel like this is going to fit the prompt perfectly. It's called We Used to Live Here. I've never heard of this author before. I know this is a little bit more of the horror route, which I'm a little bit scared by, but I do know that this is going to be made into a Netflix movie with Blake Lively, and this book just came out like 10 or 12 days ago, so I don't know how the rights got sold for that already, but I was like, okay, well clearly I've got to read the book then. Get Out meets Parasite in this eerily haunting debut and Reddit hit, soon to be a major motion picture, about 2 homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents unexpectedly visit. I think there's some weird, strange things about the people that come to visit because they will not leave. And I was also flipping through this book and found this crazy, weird looking map, and one of the things says there's a staircase that will lead you to the basement of a Romanian psych hospital, and I'm just confused what this house actually is. There's part of the house or this town that looks like an underground like shopping mall, and there's some creepy type of monster. I don't know. I'm a little bit scared, but I'm also very, very intrigued. We also have the prompt of a book that takes place in the summer because it is Summerween after all, and I decided to go with Bless Your Heart by Lindy Ryan. I've had this arc for quite some time now and have just been waiting for the perfect time to pick this up. This is giving off major Grady Hendrix vibes. It's a crackling mystery horror novel with big-hearted characters and blood-soaked southern charm. So I don't know what to expect. There's obviously vampires, but it sounds like these women have to solve a mystery. It says, in 1999 in Southeast Texas, and 4 generations of Evans women, owners of the only funeral parlor in town, are keeping steady with normal business. The dead die, you bury them. End of story. But something is stirring. It's been 15 years since the god-awful mess that left 2 bodies in the ground, and things are about to get a whole lot messier. I feel like this is a very underrated book because I've been seeing a lot of great reviews, even early reviews, and I'm excited that I finally have an excuse to read this early before fall hits. There's actually 2 more prompts, one of them being reading a book with the night sky on the cover, and I think I might try to figure out some type of graphic novel for this one, or I may just skip this prompt. There's also another prompt of read a book in the dark, which I could literally do for any of these books, but I do just want to get into some fall or spooky books early, and I feel like these are going to be perfect because this one does take place during the summer. Before you leave this video, let me know if you're going to participate in the readathon as well, because Gabby always does the best job hosting. Okay, next is my favorite part about my TBRs, where I get to share with you guys my most anticipated of this month specifically. I'm actually trying really hard to do a no by July because I really want to save up my pennies for the fall season, but there is a couple that I might end up purchasing, and one of them I did get from the publisher that I'm excited about is The Summer of Yes by Courtney Walsh. This comes out the 2nd of July, I believe, and I'm so excited about this one. Obviously, it's perfect for summer. I know this girl has like a near-death experience, which kind of changes her outlook on life. She's used to saying no to everything and kind of lives a comfortable lifestyle, but after she has that experience, it kind of changes the whole game for her, and she essentially, I think, starts like this bucket list of things she wants to do. So it's more of like a road trip kind of adventurous summer book, which I love. I loved Isadora Bentley, and I've been seeing even better things about this one, so I'm definitely gonna make this one a priority for July. We also have The Spellshop by Beth Durst, which is going to be like a new cozy, I don't know if it's a romantasy, I think it's supposed to be a romantasy, but this cover is so enchanting with these sprayed edges as well. I mean, I love it. I think this was an indie published book to begin with, but it is a lush cottagecore tale full of stolen spellbooks, unexpected friendships, sweet jams, and even sweeter love. I mean, right there, it sounds perfect. I don't need anything else. We also have The Lost Story by Meg Shaffer, which I'm so excited about. I will be picking this up the day it comes out. It's supposed to be some type of Narnia retelling, retelling, or Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe retelling, or inspired by, instantly sold. I love Narnia so much. It was a huge part of my childhood. And if it's anything like The Wishing Game, this has the potential to be on my top 3 favorites of the year once again. Next, I have the Orthinologist Field Guide to Love by India Holton, which looks like it's going to be some type of series called Love's Academic. Let me just read this pitch to you, because that's literally all you need. Rival ornithologists hunt through England for a rare magical bird in this historical fantasy rom-com reminiscent of Indiana Jones, but with manners, tea, and helicopter parasols. I don't know what type of magic or whatever is going to be in this book, but this could be a 5-star like favorite of the year for me. I'm predicting that right now. I hope that I'm right, because just from that one sentence, I cannot get this book out of my head. Next, we have a middle grade graphic novel, which I feel like I haven't seen anything decent come out recently. This one is called The Night Librarian, which I might actually save for around spooky season and just buy it early. But it says a graphic novel adventure in which 2 siblings, a mysterious night librarian, and a motley cast of book characters try to save the New York Public Library. Does that not just sound like a fun, adventurous time? And the art style looks like it's going to be extremely cute. We see some bats on the cover, so maybe like some spooky vibes because it's at night. So I think this is just going to be the perfect fall graphic novel. Next, I'm going to be sharing with you real quick the random books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of July. I kind of didn't really know what I wanted to read for July, because other than Summerween, I'm not really in a huge fantasy mood, which is my typical mood. I kind of just want to read some fast thrillers, some fun romance, and just enjoy reading like easy books, because I feel like during the fall and winter I read historical or fantasy, and that takes a little bit more brain power. So I kind of had fun just choosing random books on my shelf. But the first one that I had to put on my TBR for July is a novel love story by Ashley Poston. You guys know she's like one of my top 3 favorite romance authors at this point. Summer is the perfect time to pick up romance books, and I love that we've gotten some great romance books so far this year. This one is supposed to be about, I think, a girl who's writing her own novel, and she ends up falling into the world where her novel takes place, and I think she ends up falling in love with a guy, and it just sounds really magical, really cute, really fun. Something I love about Ashley is all the magical elements she includes. I know it's not necessarily for everyone, but being a fantasy person, her books just always make me so incredibly happy. I haven't cracked it open yet, but I've been so tempted, and if you guys have not read an Ashley Poston, please do. People slept on Dead Romantics, and I had to scream it from the rooftops that this author is just going to be a new favorite, and I'm so glad I've gotten several other people to pick up her books now. Speaking of romance, a brand new romance author I just discovered in the past week or two, Miss Catherine Center. I am so excited about Catherine Center now. I love the rom-commers. I'm not even finished, and I think I've cried or teared up at least twice. Her books are so deep and so incredible, and getting to hear her talk about her experience while writing her newest book just made me love her as a human even more. She's such an amazing person. I always knew I would love her books, but reading the rom-commers just solidified that for me, and so of course I had to add Hello Stranger to my list. I couldn't decide if I wanted to read The Bodyguard or this one, but because this one just sounds like it's gonna hit home for me, I decided to start here. It's about an artist who has some type of accident, and then she struggles with face blindness, and she obviously struggles with being an artist now because she can't really see and her vision is so different. I don't know who she falls in love with or how she falls in love with him. I'm not really seeing a name at all in the synopsis, so I'm excited to learn more about Mr. Mysterious and where this is gonna go. But Catherine Center is just wow. She pulls at your heartstrings, doesn't let go, and I am so incredibly excited to dive into another one of her books. Another romance that I decided to randomly add to this TBR because it's been calling to me. None of my close friends have read this one, but I have been seeing pretty good reviews, and that is The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. The only reason I got this book is because I love Christina Lauren. I don't think I've disliked or hated a single book that I've read from them, and this one obviously takes place during the summer. A delicious new romance between the buttoned-up heir of a grocery chain and a free-spirited artist as they fake their relationship in order to receive a massive inheritance. Well, that actually sounds really incredible. It sounds like there could be more to the plot, kind of like something Wilder had. We had like a treasure hunt, it was out west, quest. There was like ranches and plot twists, and it read kind of like a mystery. So that would be super cool if they incorporated some of those elements into this book as well. So yeah, I'm hoping after reading just a little tidbit, now I'm even more intrigued by this one. Hopefully I'll be able to read this one and tell you guys what I think. I have a couple mystery thrillers that I'm just throwing on this TBR just in case there is a chance I get to them. I started The Last Murder at the End of the World last month, as in I just read the prologue and I was already intrigued. I've never actually read a Stuart Turton, but I've been seeing really good things about this one. I know this one's a little bit more sciencey and kind of more difficult to understand, but it sounds like Lost, where we have a group of people on this island that have to like solve mysteries or something to essentially save the world. So I don't know if there's like a plague. I literally have no idea what's gonna happen in this book. He has this thing where he kind of bends genres or mixes genres together that a lot of people haven't experienced before. So I'm excited to experience this one myself. I decided to add The Vacation once again to this list. I feel like I've talked about this book in a couple TBRs, added it to my summer TBR. It's on a beach in Los Angeles where there's tourists that go to the Golden Coast and the promise of Hollywood, but for 8 strangers at a beachfront hostel, there's far more on their minds than an extended vacation. All of them are running from something and they all have secrets they'd kill to keep. I could be completely wrong, but I've heard this one has kind of like And Then There Were None vibes. But I'm just very intrigued to read this one because the atmosphere specifically sounds like it's going to be amazing. And then 2 fantasy books. I'm only putting 2 fantasy books on this list that I can choose from for July. I'm not gonna get distracted. We are going to do this. One specifically that I completely forgot to put on my summer TBR is The Drowned Woods by Emily Lloyd-Jones. This is like a Welsh inspired fantasy that has to do with a mermaid. That's literally all I know. I think there's like maybe some type of magical corgi or like talking pet, but The Bone Houses is severely underrated. I will forever stand by giving that book 5 stars, and I have yet to read another one of her books, and I think it's been 4 years, so I really would love to read this. She's coming out with The Huntress, I think it's called, near the end of the year, and I just want to get excited for that one. So I'm hoping that this can be the perfect summer fantasy book that I'm craving. And then last but not least, we are ending with a bang here, because if I don't read any of these other books and I end up reading this one, that's all I care about, is I'm going to be finally getting back into the world of Sarah J. Maas and Throne of Glass specifically. I've only read Throne of Glass twice, and I've read Crown of Midnight, and it has been way too long since I've dove back into this world, and I'm scared I'm just gonna forget everything at this point. No, I don't have plans really the second half of July, so I feel like that's gonna be the perfect opportunity for me to at least read this one, maybe even 2 or 3 of the other books going into August. I don't really know, but I'm speaking into existence that I need to get to this series. I don't know what I'm waiting on. I think there's just been so many like new releases coming out and I've just been distracted, but especially during this fall and winter season before the year ends, I really want to focus on finishing up some series or reading some backlist fantasy specifically, because I told myself this year I was going to get back into my fantasy era and I've strayed for far too long from that. I need to know why everybody freaks out over Kingdom of Ash. I have been almost spoiled so many times and I just don't want that to happen before I finally finish this. Alright friends, well that is my TBR for July. Like I said, I don't really have any big plans. I'm kind of just taking things easy and gearing up or getting ready mentally for the crazy fall season we're about to have. Honestly, I've just been mood reading and really enjoying this summer of reading just in general. I've been reading incredibly slow, but the quality of books I've been reading have been great, and I promise I do have a recent reads video coming probably more towards the end of July. Don't forget, you can now use my code LIVESLibrary to jump over on Aardvark, make the switch, kind of look at their books and see what you're intrigued by. Not sponsored, but I'm just throwing that out there. I will always have that link or that code in my description now. But thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. Content has been a little bit more enjoyable instead of forcing myself to like pump out 2 videos or 3 videos a week, and I've just been enjoying life lately. So I hope you guys get out there this summer, go swimming, spend time with your family before we're all holed up in our houses for the very cold winter season to come. But thank you so much for watching this video. I love you guys so much, and I'll be seeing you in my next one.